Greetings and salutations. I'm Christopher Platt, reporting for Your Black World News with an article from NBCnews.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and visit theblackbusinessschool.com to learn about financial literacy and how you can grow your business today. On July 6, 2016, Jackie Carter was at home in Pennsylvania celebrating her son's 30th birthday when she heard the news that a Minnesota man, 32-year-old Valerie Castile, had been shot and killed by a police officer. Castile was driving with his girlfriend and her child when he was pulled over by Officer Geronimo Yanez. Yanez claimed to see Castile reaching for his gun and fired several shots. Yanez would later testify in court that he quote-unquote had no choice and that he thought he was going to die. Moments after the shooting, Castile can be heard saying he wasn't reaching for his gun. Carter, who doesn't know Castile, remembered thinking to herself, someone has got to come up with a solution. From her perspective, Carter says the critical moment during the traffic stop was when Castile reached for his license. That gave her the idea to create a small, clear identification pouch that can be attached to the driver's side air vent of the vehicle. She thought that would keep young men from reaching around their cars while looking for their license and registration documents and setting off potentially dangerous interactions with police. She calls the pouch not reaching. I'm more fearful for my son in a car here than when he was serving in Afghanistan, Carter tells ABC Black. Since its launch 3 years ago, the pouch has sold more than 1,000 units, and Carter says she's given the product away to just as many drivers around her community. Anything you can't see throws you into that red flag or heightened mode, says Washington, D.C. police officer Evan Douglas. But he tells NBC it should never lead you to just assume that they're trying to kill you. With 4 years on the force, Douglas believes incidents like Castile's death come from cultural ignorance and believes that's something law enforcement can work on. From an officer's perspective, the question of is the driver reaching for a gun or weapon has been a constant theme of all types of police-involved shootings. In 2014, a white South Carolina officer was charged in the shooting of an unarmed black motorist who had reached back into his vehicle for his wallet. The officer, Sean Grobert, initially said he feared for his life, but later admitted in court he made a horrible mistake firing his weapon. Valerie Castile, Philando's mother, supports Carter's product, but she also says it's upsetting that it has to come to this, having to create a device in the hopes of preventing a fatality. The murder of my son started with a police stop, Valerie says. Having the pouch, she says, could have helped her son survive. Who would think reaching for your wallet would be your demise, she asked. Carter started distributing the pouch by reaching out to Sgt Roger Alice, an officer in her hometown of Coatesville, Pennsylvania, about an hour outside of Philadelphia. Alice describes the pouch as simplistic yet brilliant and believes it will cause less stress for everyone involved. Others aren't as optimistic. It's possible it will stop a small amount of stops from escalating, says community activist and Brooklyn College sociology professor Alex Vitale. Police killed 89 people during routine traffic stops in 2017, according to Mapping Police Violence, an activist research group that collected the data from news and police reports. Amy Shoemaker, a data scientist with the Stanford Open Policing Project based in California, says there's no question that black drivers are racially profiled. She explains a Colorblind study showing that African American drivers are just as likely to be pulled over as any other race or ethnicity during the night. In fact, during the night, African American drivers are stopped 5% less. However, during the day when the race of the driver is visible, African American drivers were more likely to be pulled over than any other motorist. Shoemaker points out while this study does not account for whether or not these stops escalate to violence, the report demonstrates racial profiling does occur. Former federal prosecutor and current NBC News legal analyst Glenn Kirshner has worked with police all his life. He says that the majority of officers are good and hardworking people, but when it comes to traffic stops, the data shows bias exists. Some officers seem to overreact or go into traffic stops with a certain mindset, Kirshner says. Perhaps they're more aggressive than they need to be, and I think that's where the situation can become volatile and sometimes fatal. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to share this video and let us know what you think. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Your Black World News YouTube channel and visit theblackbusinessschool.com today. I'm Christopher Platt reporting. Until next time, shalom.